This is my house.
Lately, I've been trying to do more movies that I like, so that's why I rewatched and reviewed To Catch a Thief. I wanted to kind of balance things out with the enormous amount of dreck I watch for this channel, but I also tried to cover new releases, and frankly lately, there's not been an awful lot to praise. I reviewed Madam Web, and what can I say, I didn't like it very much. As for why, well, Madam Web was in the Amazon with my mum when she was researching spiders right before she died. I also tried to review The Marvels and failed because I failed to stay awake. I can't review a movie in good conscience if I didn't watch all of it, and I didn't watch all of it because I couldn't watch it and remain conscious. Maybe my brain shut off as a method of self-preservation. I suppose I could go back and watch the rest of the movie, I'm just not going to. So that, like my review of Velma Season 2 and the new Doctor Who is, I'm not going to watch them. Life's too short, they will make me miserable and I'm not up for that. I don't need help in that regard. My time would be better spent decorating and then watching the paint dry. I don't want to see classic characters that I quite like being defiled in real time. But in the spirit of hope, I gave a chance to another new movie. It's a new adaptation, kind of an old TV series called The Fall Guy, starring Lee Majors, that ran from 1981 to 1986, where Majors played a movie stuntman that was down on his luck and moonlighted as a bounty hunter. And seriously? Hollywood, are you actually incapable of coming up with a new idea at this point? The film stars Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, and it's listed as an action comedy. It also has heavy romance elements. I had no expectations going in. I remember the original series being quite fun, and well, I enjoyed the film. There were a few things I'd change, mostly in the last third, but for me, a lot of the humour landed, the action landed, and the romance was not so bad either. If you like those genres, and you like Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, maybe give it a watch. I've watched a lot of films, so it's kind of hard to move the needle a lot at this point. The film is above average, at least, I'd say, but among current Hollywood's output, I'd say it's kind of great. Ryan Gosling takes a lot of hits in the movie, and it was hard for me not to feel sympathetic towards his character. Not only would I advise people to watch it, it may even be worth a trip to the cinema, and I don't even like cinemas. My enjoyment of a film does not tend to be enhanced by people talking through the film and chewing popcorn with their mouths open. It would also probably be quite a good choice for a date night movie, certainly better than the Sydney Sweeney movie Immaculate was. It has a happy ending, nice, and between them Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling manage quite a sweet romance. Don't get me wrong, I doubt it will go down as one of the all-time movie greats, but you'll probably have fun watching it. Ryan Gosling is playing a character of the same name as the original 1981 series, Colt Seavers, and works as a stuntman on Hollywood movies. He's in love with a woman, Emily Blunt's Jodie, who works as a creative in the movie business and wants to be a director. Colt does a lot of work with a Hollywood megastar, Tom Ryder, played by Aaron Taylor-Johnson. Because they look a little alike, and on one particular stunt that Ryder asks for, there's a horrible accident and Colt falls a long way, breaking his back as well as his self-confidence. The movie then fast forwards a year or so and things have gone very badly for Colt. He's working as a parking attendant at a Mexican restaurant. He ruined his relationship with Jodie because he didn't want to be a burden, and he disappeared. Then out of the blue, he gets a call from a famous producer, offering him work as a stuntman in Australia. He says no, until she tells him that the director is Jodie, and she asked for him. He then gets on a plane immediately. When he gets there, he's excited to see her, but she didn't ask for him at all, and she's in fact very angry with him. So angry, in fact, that she gets him to do the same stunt over and over, where he gets set on fire and flung into a wall. Nope, the shot is just not right. We have to do it again, and again, and again. The newspaper, the Observer's reviewer, didn't like the film. Either the UK Observer or the New York Observer, because neither of them have a sense of humour. The UK Observer gave it 2 stars out of 5, saying, Ryan Gosling fails to fly in vacuous stuntman action comedy. The combined star power of Gosling and Emily Blunt can't lift Bullet Train director David Leitch's action-heavy spectacle into meaningful entertainment. And is it necessary for entertainment to be meaningful all of the time? I think most of the audience are hoping it will be entertaining, funny and fun, not a treatise on the ethics of the surgery that will be required to remove the sticks that are terminally stuck up Observer journalists' backsides. She also gets basic facts wrong about the film, like when she says Ryan Gosling is curiously half-baked as Colt Seavers, a top stunt professional whose career and burgeoning romantic relationship are both derailed by a broken back from a botched fall. And that last part makes me think she either wasn't paying attention or didn't stay to the end of the movie, because you find out by the end it wasn't botched at all. The New York Observer is arguably even worse, saying, "The Fall Guy isn't a satire of Hollywood's worst instincts, it's a product of them." They don't treat Jodie having him slammed into a wall repeatedly as the joke it obviously is. Oh no! To the New York Observer, her lack of professionalism is the film taking a swipe at all female directors, and that's quite a reach. She can't just be a character, she has to reflect the collective of all women. Saying, if The Fall Guy reflects how Hollywood views women directors, it's little surprise there are so few of them, because like I say, they have no sense of humour whatsoever. The film depicts some female characters negatively. It also depicts some male characters very negatively, but unsurprisingly, the professional reviewers only have a problem when it's done to women. Their reviews are entirely defined by their politics, and that's the meaning they were hoping for. Even a movie that's almost entirely without politics is reviewed through a political lens. It goes on. How does Cole prepare or train for this treacherous work? Why is he so good at it? This movie that purports to love stunt performers couldn't seem to care less, but then it's hard to imagine that a film as mean-spirited and generous as this one would be capable of that level of affection. The ironing is delicious. This after giving the most reaching and mean-spirited interpretation of the film possible. Seriously, maybe give this movie a chance. At least more of a chance than these journalists seem to have. If anything, the movie kind of takes shots at the narcissism and ridiculousness of Hollywood. Kind of timely, really. From here on in, I'll give a plot rundown that will have spoilers, starting now. Colt arrives in Australia and talks to the producer about why she lied about Jodie asking for him. She tells him that Jodie really needs him. The star of the film Ryder has gone missing. This is Jodie's first attempt at directing on an action film called Metal Storm, and if Ryder is not found, the film will get cancelled. Colt has his face scanned so he can stand in for Ryder while he's missing, and they can just add Ryder's face in later. So Colt is a stuntman by day, and by night he searches for Ryder, all while trying to win back the love of his life and save her dream of being a director. He goes to Ryder's house, gets attacked by a woman with a sword, who it turns out is Ryder's girlfriend, and gets directed to a club that Ryder frequents. And Ryder's dealer, Dune, insists Colt share a drink with him in order to give him information on Ryder's whereabouts, and it starts to become clear that there was something quite special in the drink he was given when Colt starts to see glitter and unicorns everywhere. The dealer and his men want to take Colt somewhere against his will, and what happens next is an extremely strange and surreal fight sequence. It's a bit like one of the fight sequences in Argyle, only there's a reason for it to be happening and it's actually good. The choreography is fine, but what makes it for me is the lighting effects. When someone gets hit, light bursts out like fireworks. It's kind of beautiful and a nice use of juxtaposition. He finally gets a hold of the dealer, who directs him to a hotel where he can supposedly find Ryder. When he gets there, he doesn't. He finds what appears to be a man's body in a bath of ice. He's also still tripping balls and seeing unicorns. So by the time he gets the police, there's no body there, and he's not entirely sure there ever was. The producer comes to Colt again, telling him to get out of the country. She says trouble is coming. She's brought him a ticket back to the United States, but he wants to stay and protect Jodie. He's also started to hit it off with her again, and she even invites him to karaoke. He goes to see Ryder's assistant, hoping she knows where Ryder is. She doesn't, but she does have Ryder's locked smartphone. Just as Colt is about to get it, they're both tased by some very large and angry men, and she's carried away. He gives chase, and after a long action sequence, gets her back and gets the phone. He then runs to the karaoke bar, but it's already too late. He's missed Jodie. He then goes to Ryder's house to find the code to unlock the phone and find the truth. On the phone is footage of Ryder at a party. He has a complex that he has to have other people do his stunts for him. And when practicing a kick on his stuntman at the party, he accidentally causes fatal injuries. The now armed, very angry men come back, as well as Ryder, and the story now becomes clear. Colt is the fall guy. in multiple senses. The producer brought him to Australia because they intended to frame him for what happened to the stunt guy in place of Ryder. That's why they wanted him at the hotel on CCTV with the body in ice, and that's why they got a facial scan. Now Colt's face can be put on doctored footage from the party, so it looks like Colt was responsible for the man's demise. Ryder considers himself so valuable, so important. What's the life of one stuntman compared to the value of what he does? He also reveals that he engineered Colt's accident that broke his back because Colt was making him look bad. The only thing now needed is Colt's suicide, but he manages to escape, fakes his demise, then dresses up as an alien and goes to the film set to see Jodie as the news is breaking that he's being sought for murder. He grabs her from behind and she doesn't know it's him and she beats the hell out of him. Out of nowhere, she's just like the Terminator and she just doesn't stop. I dread to think what the Observer journalists made of that part. They probably thought it was a commentary on female violence. Together, they then trick Ryder into confessing his guilt. And this, sadly, is the weakest part of the movie for me. We don't really get to see the bad guys get their comeuppance. It would have been nice to see the bad guys get led away in handcuffs or something at the end. The film then seems to get remade with Jason Momoa in the lead role, and Colt and Jodie have a happily ever after and go away together. Overall, I found the film to not be bad at all, and it was quite nice to finish a film for once and actually be smiling.
And the Bob Igers are like, no, what's going on with my stocks? No, Captain Kennedy.
Never rub another man's rhubarb.